Hi, it's Emily or Emmy Rose 22A, and we are back with day 4 of the Christmas Art Journal Advent Calendar put on by Mickie's Mind. I'll have links to her blog post and YouTube channel down below. Today's prompt is a song. It's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. So, kind of a little preview. My thoughts are night sky, snowbanks. I'm going to try to watercolor the snowbanks with a pale blue and a pearl shimmery. Try to give them a little more something. The night's going to be kind of, again, an ombre type thing, but I'm going to go from a darker blue to a almost midnight, almost black up at the top. I want to do some white snowflakes. And then we have this really cute, I have this really cute chipboard sleigh. This from the Shannon green kit, which I checked today and there were some in stock, so I'll link to that down below as well. This is going to be on the snow. My thought is to do a whole bunch of presents. I have paper that has a bunch of presents I'm going to cut out and do like a pile of presents on top, and then Santa Claus is Coming to Town up above. So that's the gist of it. I guess I will get started with the painting of the background so that can dry, and then I will watercolor the front, and then we'll work on that sled. Got to figure out how I want to do his sleigh. I pulled out the gunky paper since we're just going to be painting again. So I'm going to scooch this down so that maybe you guys can actually see my paints this time. I am going to use the cobalt blue and black. Oh, this is an apple barrel. You know what? I bet they were out of the Craft Essentials black when I was getting paint, but I knew black was one I would need. So I was thinking a 3-tone ombre, but I'm thinking maybe just blue, blue with a little black, and then blue with like a lot of black. So we'll see how that works for us. Hopefully I do have my brush in here. I don't have to go running for that. And I think I'm going to start with the lowest. I think my snow is probably going to come up to about here. Does that seem about right with my sleigh? So I kind of want him on the snow with some snow a little bit behind. So yeah, about there. And today I'm starting with the lower, so I'm going to start with the bottom. And if this is too bright, which I think it'll be okay for our horizon line. It's not the most opaque. As in, it's not coloring the best or covering the best. But let's see how this little bit of black and blue does. Oh my, that black's super powerful. I probably should have known that. So this other one's going to be practically unusable because this is about as dark as I want the top one, I think. Maybe, yeah. It's definitely a more navy toned. How did I have so much paint last time, and this time I've got like none? But I definitely would like... Let's see. And that, of course, is darkest at the bottom. Such is the way that I paint. I thought this would be like super duper easy because my other painting things went so well. And true to myself, it is not going so well. I don't like that that dark band is right there. Let's see. Good thing these paints were only a quarter. There we go. That's a little lighter. And we'll throw some more of that blacky blue in there. I really need to not spread my paint out so much. That would help. Okay. I think with that little bit of blue peeking out at the bottom, we might actually be okay. I might go for some pretty much pure black at the top. Just a slight hint of the blue. Okay. So there is my night sky. It's pretty dark. I can see the blue in there still, so hopefully it'll be okay. I'm going to put this aside and I will get my snowbank paper all set. Alrighty, we are going to play with this snowbank. You guys have seen me cut a snowbank before, so I saved you the time here. I have this super pale blue that I'm hoping if I water down a lot will be the color I want. And true to my form, I should have wet my paper first. I'm using some Canson Bristol paper, so I'm just going to wet the whole thing. I do have some watercolor paper, but the stuff I have is 140 pounds, so it was really heavy. Heavier than I wanted for this. I just want my snow to have a tint of blue, a lot of texture, way more water. A lot of texture, which is why I'm just kind of dabbing it in. Well, I guess I need to get a little bit of background color perhaps going on, because I've done that over there. I've never watercolored before. First time for everything. I just know that if you get your stuff wet enough, it should kind of run and do fun things. And I don't, oh, I need a paper towel. Paper towel, paper towel. That's what you do when you get those little pools at the end. You soak them up. See? And I know the waterier the color, the lighter it is. So it's kind of what I'm going for over here. Lightening it up. Just going to drop some in. Then I'm going to help it to kind of run about. That's why I thought watercolor might be fun for this, because I don't want any, I don't care if it's a little textured, I don't care if there's some drips, some hard edges, things like that. So those drips look kind of cool. And then if we let them maybe go down. To me, this kind of looks like the layers of snow. There we go. So I think that might be good enough. I do have some kind of heavy pockets over here. I think I might touch a little. Then I do have some perfect pearls that I think I'm going to let this dry. I may do another like coat on top of it, another wash on top of it. Depending on how it dries, and then I may do some perfect pearls on top of that, so we shall see. I want it to have kind of a shimmer. I want it to kind of glow against the night sky background. So I think we'll set this aside and we will work on our sleigh. Now we are going to work on the sleigh. It has got the little runners, and then there's like the sleigh part, and then there's a whole bunch of trim pieces. So my plan is to do most of this red with black trim, and then I want silver runners. I am going to put some silver stickles on the runners to give them some glitter so they shine a little more like silver. So I want to paint them gray, so they at least have that on the underneath to help with their silver, I'm going to say silveriness. That is not a word, but that's what I'm saying. So I have my black, my white, and then my red is called Cherry Cobbler. It's not the most Santa red, but it's the one I've got. I'm guessing this is probably the only red that was like left and it's actually more red than it looks in the bottle. I'm guessing that's the only red they had left when we were getting the sale paints. We were really quite limited. So the red's the biggest area, so I've got a bigger brush for that. And the black should cover up the red. So I'm just going to paint the whole, like all the red stuff red. And then I will let the red dry while I work on the, I'm trying these acrylic brushes again, and I'm telling you, I'm just not in love with these things. Seems like that should be a sleigh piece down there. The runners do come up. Just a second, I'll show you. Apparently I can't edge and talk at the same time. Maybe it's the length of these bristles that are the problem. Well, this may need a second coat because it is going on quite heavy, like streaky, I mean. Not heavy. Heavy might not be a problem. Streaky is definitely a problem. Like I've mentioned, this is probably not the best acrylic paint ever, since it is the Joann's generic brand. Okay, we're going to cover all that up. And either my silver will cover it, oops, or it won't. And then maybe I'll have to do that part black. I should only have to do the edges the one time. But yeah, this is definitely going to need another coat because that looks horrible. Psh. True Emily fashion. Now I'm going to make my gray. And I did learn my lesson from my sky type thing that it doesn't take a lot. Whoops. I forgot how I was going to do this upper part. But I was just going to do gray along the bottom there. Maybe I should have done my second coat of red before I did that. I don't know. Sometimes we regret our life decisions, don't we? And sometimes we regret our art decisions. And I'm going to stick my thumb in some gray and then stick it in the red, I'm thinking. So let me finish painting the sleigh runners and we will go back to another coat of red. Thinking one coat on the gray should be good enough, although I may have to touch up around the red. Just because I'm going to have the stickles over the gray. Well, it's looking cute so far. The red's really not looking great at all. Just one sec, let me try another brush. Alright, I've got this little flat brush. Oh, my gray's not dry at all. You'd think I'd remember such things. That is much better coverage. splotchy, but I think that really needs to dry quite well. I guess maybe I shouldn't have put my black out yet, because I'm going to want that red to be completely dry before I put the black on. So I guess we are in drying mode for a little bit. I will be back when we're ready for round 2 of things. My watercolor snowbank has dried. It seems like I still have a lot of really white spots. Over here I got really blotchy. Over here I'm kind of solid. So I think today I'm going to try for more of an overall wash kind of thing. Get a little more of that like robin's egg blue. And I did get me a mini mister of just straight water, so I can just, I guess I maybe should have primed it first. So I can water it down really quick without having to go back and forth. And there goes my lid. I just really want this to be a really thin, super wet light blue. And I start out with paintbrush bristles on my project. That's always awesome. And my paper is really curled because of the water. It's I don't know if I mentioned it, it's Canson Bristol XL. I think I did mention this, that I have some watercolor paper, but it's 140 pound and it was just too heavy. Oh, this is doing much more like what I wanted. I love that I have that texture underneath, but that I'm getting more all over color with this wash. I'm not sure if maybe I should have started with this wash then, so I got the all over color, or what. Watercoloring is definitely one of the things I want to play more with and get much better at. Painting of any kind I haven't done much of any type of, so but watercolor kind of fascinates me, even just like these painty backgrounds like this. A lot of card makers use them. There's some super awesome like galaxy things that they do, and even just the ink smooshing and whatnot. So I'm happy with that. Now I have just a all over light blue. I still have some of my darker patches. I don't care that it's a little uneven. Snow kind of is that way. I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'm going to come in and hit it with some Perfect Pearls. I just don't want it to be, well, you know what, I'm going to hit it with the Perfect Pearls right now. Oh, sorry about my arm. That's in my other mini mister. And Perfect Pearls is just like a mica powder, I believe. So it should give me a nice bit of shimmer. I just mix some with some distilled water and just a little mini mister, just a tiny bit. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff, so hopefully you can't really tell if it's shimmery at all right now because it's just wet all over, but that'll give you a little more texture too. So I'm going to put this behind to dry and bring back our sled. And as you see, I got a palette. I guess I should have looked for these earlier. $1.49 at Joann's, and cheapo me used a 30% off coupon because I had one, so I paid less than $1 for it. Completely worth it if you need to contain your paint. Let's see, which brush did I want? This one. Today I think all I have left to paint is the black trim pieces. I'm not sure exactly which pieces are the black trim. Oh, that's a lot of paint. Yeah, handy, Emily. So I know I need to get it up here so I can see. I think I want like these bits around the chair. I'm not sure if I want the chair arms itself, maybe like the arms and the front part. There's, oh, you guys can't even see what I'm pointing at. Sorry. There's like these raised parts around the sled that I know I want to do. And then I'm not sure on the, because I was going to do this part up here. And then maybe the front of the seat and around the arms, maybe just the little dots. I'm not positive. Let's start with what I think I know I want. Work that into my brush a little bit, and we're going to see if we can paint lines here. Let's try to figure out the best way to do this. I think pulling towards me. Definitely pulling towards me. And this won't be the most perfect thing ever, and I'm okay with that. I really cannot talk and paint at the same time. Gotta try to see where that exactly goes. So since I'm not a good talker and painter, maybe I will just play some music over this part. I don't know. I may speed it up if it gets too long and tedious. So let's see how I do. Doing his chair brown, but now that I thought about it a little bit, I think I'm still going to make it black with red accents. So I may need to touch up the red accents maybe on the chair. We shall see. The seat, I guess it is. The seat of the sleigh. It needs something. I stopped partway through there. So I finished up the arm, and I've got a teeny little liner to maybe do like this back part back here, and then these little dots. So let's see how this little liner treats me. Okay, and there's Santa's sleigh. I think that's, I want to, oh, let me do that real quick while we're thinking about it. I've got my silver stickles that I wanted to put on my tracks. perfect for the little sleigh thingies. Runners, I guess they would be. I'm not 100% in love with that sleigh. I'm not sure what exactly it needs. I may think about that and come back to it and see what it's lacking later. So I'm going to let that dry, let my snow dry, then we'll come back and I need to fill the sleigh, figure out how. I've made presents for the sleigh. Sorry, I've had a migraine today, so I'm not the smartest ever. I found this pattern paper with presents all over it, and so I have cut a bunch of them out. Here they are. I've cut them out and, oh, don't stick to me, and edged them with black a little bit just to kind of define them. And my thought is to make, obviously much better, but a pile of presents to go in the sleigh, because this is Santa Claus is coming to town. So I want a big stack of presents. They're all being funky. And then on my sky, I want to write the words Santa Claus is coming to town. I would like to white heat emboss those, so I need to figure out about where my presents in mound are so I can do that. And then do some white, like dotty snowflakes in some white paint pens. So let's let everything dry, see if I can think of anything else to fix the sleigh, if it needs anything, and we will be back to finish up day 4. I wanted to get started sticking my presents together. I kind of need the sleigh for a reference. I'm thinking I'm just going to use a glue stick and just start building up the mound. We'll see. So we'll play with these for a bit. Oh dear, no! My presents just fell in my sleigh tracks. I wanted to pick some of them up because they need to dry like forever, and I know that. Ugh. Guess I'll be touching up my sleigh tracks. Oh, let's not touch all the sleigness. I did add some paint to this back part of the sleigh, and I really think that added quite a bit more depth. I also connected the seat front to the handle, so that kind of matches, and I added a cross beam there that I had missed. So I guess I'm truly going to let everything dry. I want to trim the presents so that they look like they go behind the sled, because this is fairly thick. I don't think I'm going to be able to cut through this. I want like that arm to come up above, so I need to figure out how to do that. So I'll probably figure that out off camera and show you how I do it, so that you can see that. I'm hoping this is going to be a decent enough pile of presents. I obviously cut way too many presents. My sleigh should go about here on the snow with the presents on top. So Santa Claus is coming to town will go up here, and then like I said, there'll be snow all over. So I may play with my heat embossing since this backdrop is completely dry. So I think I'm ready to heat emboss my words. I am using the same letter stamp that I used to stamp my little placards, my December. And I don't see I have the stamp set right here, but I don't see the backer paper for it. So I happen to have enough letters to do all of my words on separate blocks. So I'm thinking Santa Claus is coming to town right above there. So I think I'm going to do the Santa Claus is, and then I think I might go town to coming to make sure I end where I want to down here. So I've got my VersaFine back again, and I have this, it's Hampton Art white embossing powder. So hopefully that will work. I got a piece of paper to catch it on, and let's see how this goes. This font is looking really fun and playful, which I am very much enjoying. Santa. And I can barely see it on this background. Claus is. The is and to are on the same block. So I'm going to take that is off. And like I said, I think I want to go the town first, so the town ends up right above that, the sleigh, whatever you call it. And I will take the town off. And two, and coming. Hopefully this reads properly. My poor sleigh runners, they can't catch a break. I just stuck my block in them. Alright, let's cap this up. And let's do my white embossing powder. To cover my words a little better. And I have some powder in some stray places where I don't want it, so I'm going to use the old dry paint brush to loosen it up. And I don't have one of those handy anti-static powder tools to keep it from sticking where you don't want it to. I'm going to put some snow on this background, so it may not be the worst if I have a few. Oh, I am staticky as heck. I may need to invest in one of those. Oh, my S got smudged. Let's see if I can. Okay. And I've never used this embossing powder before, so I don't know how good or what it is. It looks good so far. Hopefully it'll be a nice bright white when it heat sets. Heat up my heat gun. Hopefully this time we can see a little bit of magic. Oh, I can! With my shimmering stuff, I didn't get to see the embossing magic. When it all melts and is gorgeous. Oh, and that's a nice bright white. I'm very happy with that. That is quite what I wanted. So, let me put freaking a little bit more dang silver stuff on my sleigh. Then I think I might leave it and leave this project for like at least an hour. I can always get started on day 5. In the meantime, I need to clean up my stamps, but I can't believe I keep sticking stuff in those sleigh runners. What a derp. I know they're wet. Parts of them are dry. So I think if I just leave this be for a bit, it should be dry. Hopefully my snow will be dry. I'm just really happy with how that came out. That's super bright on that blue background, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm thinking maybe I didn't push my Santa and Claus as hard as I pushed my Coming to Town because they seem a little deeper, but I don't even care. Yay! Then I got to figure out how I'm going to edge my December 4th, which I think is going to go down here somewhere, probably over here I think, because the sleigh is going to be here. So we shall see. I will be back for assembly. We are back to finish up day 4. I think the first thing I'm going to do is stick my snowbank down. I don't know that you guys can see, but there is some pretty shimmer on this snow. I can't quite tell what's going on in the camera. Apparently my screen is very greasy. So use my sticky. Gotta remember, I can't go super fast with this. I keep trying to. And just to make sure I'm not positive where the edge of that exactly is going to hit. So I'm just going to kind of do the edges of my paper as well. I want this to go down in the bottom corner, so. Oh crap. Maybe I'll just have it overlap a little and trim it down. That may be the easiest way to make sure it sticks exactly where I want it to. Then I will trim that off. I will do that off camera. You guys don't need to see that. The next thing I wanted to do was my sleigh, which, wait, yay, my rails are finally dry. I want my presents to sit on the seat, and so I'm going to try to trace around this so that it looks like the arm of the chair is going in front of the presents. Give it a little more like dimensionalness. I think I'm going to play with that off camera as well, because that might be a little fiddly. So hopefully I will be right back and we will have our background done, our sleigh done. We can glue everything together, put some snow on, and call her a day. Okay, I have trimmed down my presents so that they kind of go around the arm there so that it looks a little more like they're sitting inside the sleigh. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. So a little of my Tombow Mono. There's those in the sleigh. I'm trying to bend them back a little bit so that they lay correctly. Now I'll put some glue on my sleigh. So we want him to stick down really well. And hopefully this will be strong enough. And you know, I am gonna switch to my multi-medium. This is a stronger adhesive, so it'd probably be my best bet on this. I don't know where that accent just came from. I really need the squeezy tube of this. If you notice, it's getting all over the sides of my rails. And I do not like that. So, okay. I think we will stick a little bit of glue back here. I don't know if any even got back there. I will put a little glue back there to stick those presents down. This is going to need something heavy on it to help it dry. So I will set it aside and let it do that. And then my December is going to go down here in the corner. I just outlined it in some red to give it some pop on that snow. I know it's the same corner we did for the 3rd, but what are you going to do? It's kind of what works. That's my emptiest area. And then I have some white paint pens, so I want to do some just snow falling. So I'm going to let this dry and then I'll come back and do the snow. This is dry and it is looking really good. I just think some snowflakes up there will help it out a lot. I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to try. I haven't been the happiest with these paint pens I've got. I've got this bigger one that's a painter's white and it's nib. I don't know if I kept hold of it too long. But for one thing, I don't like that the plastic that goes around the tube, which is like the label and tells you everything about it, is actually connected to the plastic that goes up over the lid. It's supposed to tear around, I guess, so that this stays, but mine did not. So now it slides, and every time I try to open it, it tries to come off. But this one is really the nib is very dry, so I keep having to flip it around to make it work. And that is absolutely not my favorite. But this is a bigger nib than the other one I have, so I wanted to do some bigger snowflakes. And my thought was for them to be heavier at the top and graduate going down. That is it for day 4. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's got a sleigh all loaded with his presents. It's snowing. Nice, beautiful Christmassy night. I think I'm going to call that page done. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. They are taking a little longer than I had anticipated, but I am having a lot of fun trying out different techniques and posting these videos for you guys to enjoy. So I will see you for day 5. Bye.